monarchy historian and senior lecturer in history at Manchester Metropolitan University. Good to have you on this News Hour. Now, you've said that Queen Elizabeth II always did things, quote, the right way. What do you mean by that?
Well, I think that when we're thinking about how the reign of the last 70 years will be thought about by historians in future generations, I think most of what becomes apparent is that the Queen is really the product of many generations of royals, particularly from the 19th century, who've really sort of taught her how to do things. And that's kind of what I think we can say, is that she did it all right, and there wasn't anything that was dramatically wrong. There were no major scandals, at least involving her. And I think that that's a pretty tremendous record over such a long time period.
And you say there weren't scandals involving her. There were, of course, scandals involving her children, their marriages. Most recently, Harry and Meghan, her son, Prince Andrew. How do you feel that the Queen actually dealt with those situations?
I think that it was quite difficult the whole way through, because if you think about it, when she was a child and when she was being raised and came of age, the world was a very different place, and most of the media didn't know anything really about what was going on inside the royal family itself. So that would have been how she was trained, as it were. And so everything changed quite dramatically in the 1960s, 1970s, and the royal family, in the process of modernizing, like most European royal families did, let in the media quite a lot more. And then, as a result, I think when there were internal family problems, it did become a bit more of an issue.
And of course, now that we've had the end of the second Elizabethan era, King Charles III will ascend to the throne. He's the new monarch. Do you expect a drastically different era to that of his mother's?
No, I don't really. I think that there will be some changes, certainly. Charles was born after the war, a very different era, and has been formulating his own plans and his own ideas for quite some time. That being said, I think much of the change of the monarchy has already happened. The last 10 or 12 years, they've really reduced the scale, they've reduced the amount of financial layout, the ceremonial, the protocols, the rituals are all quite reduced. So I think that a lot of it will just be about continuity, and the prince will really make an effort to forward what was always his mother's greatest, I think, legacy, which is the Commonwealth of Nations.
Yeah, that's something that she was very strong on, as was he. But as much as people have been mourning her death, there are also many who have been critical of the late Queen and the monarchy, as well as her being head of several Commonwealth nations, questioning the relevance of their role in society, in democracies. Is there still value in having a monarchy?
Well, I don't really think that that's something for me to answer. I think that's mostly things that people think on an individual basis. And it's a question that isn't new. Ever since the revolutions of the late 18th century and early 19th century, people have been wondering whether a hereditary system of government makes sense in a post-Enlightenment world. But on the other hand, there are a lot of people who still feel quite strongly that the symbolism, the connection to family, the connection to the church in particular, is really quite strong and a central part of the UK's personality and character as a nation.
Jonathan Spangler, really appreciate you speaking to us. Thank you so much. Live to us there from Manchester.